Intermittent fasting has become one of the most talked about health and wellness trends in recent years, but the truth is, it's not something new. For thousands of years, humans have naturally gone through periods of fasting and eating, sometimes because of limited food availability, and other times for spiritual or cultural reasons. Today, however, with food available around the clock and eating often happening out of habit rather than hunger, our bodies rarely get a true break. But what happens when we reintroduce fasting in a structured, mindful way? Could it actually make us leaner, sharper, and even extend our lifespan? Let's explore the fascinating science behind how intermittent fasting affects fat loss, hormones, and longevity. At its core, intermittent fasting isn't a diet, it's an eating pattern. It's less about what you eat and more about when you eat. The most common method is the 16-to-8 plan, where you fast for 16 hours and eat within an 8-hour window. Others include the 5-to-2 method, where you eat normally for 5 days and restrict calories for 2, or alternate day fasting, where you fast every other day. There's also OMAD, 1 meal a day, a more advanced approach. Regardless of which version you choose, the goal remains the same. Give your body more time in the fasted state to trigger powerful biological processes that support fat loss, repair, and renewal. So, how exactly does fasting help you lose fat? When you eat, your body releases a hormone called insulin to process the glucose from your food. Insulin helps store that energy in your liver, muscles, and fat cells. However, as long as insulin levels are high, your body is in storage mode. It's focused on keeping fat rather than burning it. When you fast, insulin levels naturally drop. That drop signals your body to switch energy sources, from glucose to stored fat. This metabolic switch is the foundation of fasting's fat-burning benefits. Essentially, you're teaching your body to become metabolically flexible, able to burn both carbs and fat efficiently. Beyond fat burning, intermittent fasting influences several key hormones. One of them is human growth hormone, or HGH. Fasting can increase HGH levels by up to 5 times, promoting fat metabolism and helping preserve muscle. Another hormone, norepinephrine, rises during fasting, which helps mobilize fat stores for energy. Together, these hormonal shifts increase your metabolism rather than slow it down, contrary to the myth that fasting makes you sluggish or burns muscle. But fasting's benefits go far beyond weight loss. One of the most fascinating aspects of intermittent fasting is its potential impact on longevity. Researchers studying animals have found that caloric restriction and fasting can extend lifespan by 20 to 30%. One major reason is a process called autophagy, the body's way of cleaning out damaged cells and regenerating new ones. Think of it as an internal recycling system that repairs, rejuvenates, and maintains cellular health. Autophagy becomes more active when insulin and glucose levels are low, which happens during fasting. In 2016, Japanese scientist Dr. Yoshinori Osumi won the Nobel Prize for discovering how autophagy works. His research revealed that when the body isn't busy digesting food, it has the energy to repair itself on a cellular level. Fasting triggers this process, clearing out toxins and damaged proteins that contribute to aging and disease. The result? Better cellular health, reduced inflammation, improved metabolism, and potentially, a longer, healthier life. Intermittent fasting also benefits your brain. When you fast, your body begins producing ketones, molecules derived from fat that serve as an efficient energy source for the brain. Unlike glucose, ketones burn cleanly, reducing oxidative stress and improving mental clarity. Many people report sharper focus, better memory, and greater productivity while fasting. Fasting also increases levels of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a growth hormone that supports new neuron formation, learning, and cognitive function. Some studies suggest BDNF may even protect against neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. From a hormonal standpoint, fasting also improves insulin sensitivity, meaning your body becomes more efficient at processing carbohydrates when you do eat. Over time, this helps prevent insulin resistance, a key factor behind type 2 diabetes and obesity. It also regulates hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin, helping you better recognize true hunger and fullness cues. That's why many people who practice fasting naturally eat less without feeling deprived. It shifts your relationship with food from constant craving to intentional nourishment. Now, let's clear up a few common myths about intermittent fasting. First, fasting does not slow your metabolism. In fact, short-term fasting, up to 48 hours, can actually increase metabolic rate by up to 14%. That's because fasting elevates norepinephrine and adrenaline, hormones that keep your body alert and energized. Second, fasting doesn't cause muscle loss if done correctly. As long as you eat sufficient protein and engage in some form of resistance training, fasting actually helps preserve lean muscle while burning fat. Third, fasting isn't starvation. Starvation is involuntary and extreme. Fasting is controlled and intentional. You're in charge of when and how you eat. And lastly, fasting isn't just for men. Women can absolutely benefit from fasting, though some may respond better to shorter fasts, such as 14-10 instead of 16-8, to balance hormones. If you're new to fasting, the best approach is to start simple. Begin with a 12-hour fast, for example, finish dinner at 8 p.m. and have breakfast at 8 a.m. Once that feels comfortable, gradually extend your fasting window to 14 or 16 hours. Stay hydrated during the fast. Water, black coffee, and green tea are your best friends. When it's time to break your fast, avoid processed junk or sugary foods. Instead, start with something light and nourishing, like eggs, avocado, lean protein, or a salad rich in healthy fats and fiber. This keeps your insulin levels stable and prevents post-fast crashes. One key to success is to listen to your body. Intermittent fasting isn't one size fits all. Some people thrive with longer fasts, while others perform better with shorter ones. If you feel dizzy, irritable, or overly fatigued, adjust your timing. The goal is metabolic flexibility and health, not punishment. And of course, fasting isn't for everyone. Those with diabetes, blood sugar issues, eating disorders, or pregnant and breastfeeding women should consult a healthcare professional before trying it. Another thing to remember: fasting alone isn't a magic bullet. It's a tool, one that works best when combined with a healthy lifestyle. Eating whole, nutrient-dense foods, getting enough sleep, managing stress, and staying active are all crucial for long-term results. Think of fasting as a framework that supports those habits, not a replacement for them. What makes intermittent fasting so powerful is the discipline and mindfulness it brings into your life. In a world where constant snacking and stimulation are the norm, fasting teaches patience and self-control. It reminds you that hunger isn't an emergency, it's a natural signal. Over time, this practice builds mental resilience as much as physical health. Ultimately, intermittent fasting is about balance, giving your body the space it needs to repair and renew. The benefits range from better fat metabolism and hormonal health to sharper focus and potentially longer lifespan. But the real magic lies in the simplicity. It doesn't require fancy supplements, expensive diets, or complicated tracking. Just structure, consistency, and awareness. So, can intermittent fasting really help you live longer and lose fat? The science says yes, when done correctly. It's not about deprivation. It's about giving your body what it's designed to do: rest, repair, and thrive. If you're tired of restrictive diets or calorie-counting apps, fasting might just be the shift your body needs. It's not about eating less, it's about eating smarter, at the right time. Remember, longevity isn't about living forever. It's about living better, with more energy, clarity, and purpose. And intermittent fasting, when practiced mindfully, can be one of the simplest yet most effective tools to get you there.